In, in the headlines, Taraba State government imposes 24-hour curfew in Karim town of the state. Gunmen kill Redeemed Christian Church of God RCCG pastor, abduct 7 church members during vigil in Ogun. NSCDC rescues woman locked up by father for 5 years in Jigawa. And on the foreign scene, Burundian ATMIS troops celebrate Independence Day in Somalia. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for joining. Taraba State Governor Abu Kefas has declared an immediate 24-hour curfew in Karim town and its environs effective from July 2, 2023. The curfew followed renewed communal conflict in some parts of Karim Lami, the local government area of the state. The governor mandated security agencies to ensure strict compliance, and any person or group of persons found violating the order shall be dealt with in accordance with the law. All words hate, village hate, traditional rulers and stakeholders in Karim Lami, the local government area, are urged to take note of this development. Daily Trust reporter Magaju Hunkwi gives us an update.
There was crisis between two ethnic groups in Taraba State, Karinjo and Wurkum. The crisis was over at Chieftaincy Tasu. In May, the former governor of the state presented the town office to as second-class chief of Wurkum. The Karinjo group protested, then it turned into violent crisis. The Karinjo are claiming that the Karim Lami, the town, belongs to them, and they are demanding for a chief to be appointed within their group. So that led to destruction of lives and then burning of houses and properties worth millions of naira. There was intervention between elders of the two groups. They sat in Jalingo for about 2-3 times, where peace accord was signed. Then yesterday, Saturday, some militia, society from Karinjo ethnic group invaded some Wurkum villages. And then there were burning and the killings of some people. So it was, as a result of that, the government enforced a 24 hours curfew in the area. There is a camp in the area. People are indoors now. There's 20 agencies, including police and the army, have been drafted in. Although there are some of them stationed in that place, but reinforcement was sent this morning to the area.
Unknown gunmen on Saturday stormed a branch of the Redeemed Christian Church of God RCCG in Abule Ori in Obafemi Awude local government area of Ogun State, killing the pastor and abducting 7 worshippers. The commander of the Ogun State government-owned security outfit, Soshafeko, Soji Gonzalo, who confirmed the incident, said his officers rescued the 7 church members and killed one of the kidnappers during the operation. Director of Information and Public Relations of Soshape, Mobile Maruf Yusuf, in a statement he made available to newsmen in Abeokuta, said the incident occurred at about 12 a.m. on Saturday, July 1st. According to him, officers of the Corps were charged to go after the suspects and ensure that the kidnapped victims were rescued unhurt, stating that the officers swung into action immediately. Gonzalo further disclosed that the efforts of the Corps yielded a positive result as the 7 victims were rescued unhurt, while one of the kidnappers was killed and many of the suspects sustained serious injury during exchange of gunfire. He added that the joint team of the police and the social people are after the fleeing suspected kidnappers to capture them alive. He disclosed that the body of the dead kidnapper had been deposited in a nearby morgue. Panic has gripped residents of Ike community of Odi local government area of Enugu State following the alleged killing of a volunteer member of the community's neighborhood vigilante and a woman by soldiers from the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Enugu. It was gathered that the deceased vigilante operatives Ebuka Oke, Assistant Chief Security Officers of Ike Security Neighborhood Vigilante Watch, Emeka Anibo, Chinedu Okolo, and Obinna Ofo were on their way to combat robbers who blocked the major road leading to the popular Catholic Church Prayer Center, Oguduzu and Eke from Ama breweries on Thursday evening, when the soldiers asked them to stop and started shooting. It was learned while Ebuka Oke was shot dead at close range. Okulo had his genitals and legs shattered by the soldiers' bullets, with Ofo shot on various parts of his bodies and now in the intensive care unit of a hospital. The development, it was gathered, has thrown the community and its neighborhood into panic. One of the vigilante, identified as Anibo, claimed while approaching the scene, they were ordered in a loud voice to stop. Anibo said they obeyed the soldiers and stopped and started telling them that they were neighborhood vigilante watch guards. The owner of Johnny Supermarket and Pharmacy in Owerri, Chief John Ogurji, have been kidnapped by gunmen. According to reports, Ogurji resistance led to the bandits shooting sporadically in the air. This was said to have resulted to confusion as passers-by scampered for safety. An eyewitness said that the incident happened between 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday, while the victim was driving home in his Jeep. Police spokesman ASP Henry Okoye said he was yet to receive any official report on the incident and promised to link up with the divisional police officer, DPO, in charge of the area. The Akwa Ibom State Police Command said it has arrested a man with a human skull and 5 persons suspected to be cultists. The police said the skull-holding man, One Edu Odeme Eme, was arrested at Orua Epa Junction by its quick response squad. Police Public Relations Officer Odiko Magdon said in a press release at the weekend in Oyo that though Eme could not explain why he had a human skull with him, but mentioned the name of the ringleader of the gang, who is suspected to be a ritualist. Magdon also revealed that 5 persons suspected to be involved in a rival cultist clash along Mweniba Road that resulted in the deaths of some persons in the month of May have been arrested. The Director, Media and Publicity of Anambra Vigilance Group, Chief Nweke, said the group will embark on a mop-up action to recover prohibited firearms from unlicensed individuals or groups in the state. Nweke, who disclosed this in a press conference on Sunday, explained that the move was part of their discoveries that hoodlums and criminal elements operating in the state have acquired firearms illegally. He added that the action is being taken with the support of the State Police Command and other security teams, with a view to identifying persons who have legally and illegally acquired firearms, checkmating legitimate users, and recovering them from illegal users. According to him, firearms such as pump actions were prohibited from non-AVG members, with the exception of private security guards, either registered with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps or known to the state government. He also enjoined the public to see the AVG as partners in progress, especially by making ways for them while in traffic, as delaying their convoys could affect their drives to apprehend criminals. Taraba State Police Command on Sunday confirmed fresh violence between Wurkun and Karimjo people of Karim Lami, the local government area of the state. The Command Public Relations Officer DSP Usman Abdullahi, who confirmed the development, said the violence started in the early hours of Saturday when the Karimjo ethnic launched a heavy attack on the Wurkun ethnic. The Command PPRO, however, said the number of casualties is yet to be ascertained, but a joint security team of military and the police have been drafted to the area to calm the situation. Abdullahi stressed that the fresh crisis between the two ethnic groups, which broke out on Saturday morning, started in form of guerrilla attacks. Meanwhile, locals under the umbrella of Wurkun Youth Ambassador Worldwide have condemned the attack on their people and appealed to Governor Abu Kepers to deploy more security personnel to restore normalcy in the area Spokesperson Ambassador Seth Samuel Sule narrated that the attackers attacked Garin Marwa, Sarkin Kudu, Salamin Kala, and Yashi Pena communities, all belonging to the Wurkun, on the same Saturday morning. Firearms in Taos village of Riom local government area of Plateau State have accused Fulani herders of destroying their crops in the farms in the areas. They said the herders cut down maize, Irish potatoes, cabbage, among other crops. The farmers described the incident as a deliberate move to deny them their means of livelihood, saying the destruction of the farm crops was uncalled for. They called on the security agencies to take action on the matter. National Publicity Secretary of Burum Youth Movement, Wang Teng Wang, said that the culprit invaded the farms on Friday night and destroyed crops of over 50 hectares of farmlands, adding that the farmers had reported the incident to security agencies. However, the state chairman of a Fulani socio-cultural group, Gan Allah Fulani Development Association, Garba Abdullahi, denied the allegation, saying anyone can penetrate this kind of atrocity and blamed it on harassment. He said the accusation were without any investigation and Fulani should not be accused of any criminal activity in the area. The spokesperson of State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, could not be reached for comment. A recent time, more than 200 people were killed in the state, with both farmers and herders blaming each of the atrocities against them. The senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Adams Oshemole, has promised to ensure that members of constituents enjoy dividends of democracy. Oshemole said his blood pressure will have increased if he was not elected to the National Assembly. Oshemole, who spoke at an event organized in his honor at his hometown in Iamo Esoko West local government area of the state, said if he had lost the senatorial election, he would have been mocked by his opponent, thus pushing his blood pressure to 240 by 360. He stated that many former governors failed in their bid to secure Senate seats. The former Edo governor thanked his supporters for voting for the All Progressives Congress APC in the February 25th presidential election, assuring that they will enjoy the dividend of democracy. Governor Basio Oto of Cross River State has been urged to reposition and reorganize the state ruling party, the APC. He has also been called upon to intervene to address the alleged injustices and marginalization of certain individual members and groups within the party. Former Special Advisor on Prosecution to former President Muhammadu Buhari, Chief Oku Obuno Obla, in a statement further alleged that there are deep-seated frictions in the party in the state. He urged the governor to ensure that he takes control of party to enable him have a firm grip of party structures as the leader in the state. According to him, reorganizing the party will arm him with the weapon to reform and address the alleged injustice in the running of the party. Obno Obla said the coming of Senator Otu as the 7th democratically elected governor rekindled hope in the people that it will herald positive changes and effective governance. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming off after the break. Pilgrims urge to pray for unity of Nigeria. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
That's great. That's good to see.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Here is some of the recap of our top stories. Taraba State government imposes 24-hour curfew in Karim town of the state. And gunmen kill Redeemed Christian Church of God RCCG pastor, abduct 7 church members during vigil in Ogun. Moving on to other stories. President Bola Tinubu has left Lagos, where he has been on Salah holidays, for Abuja, the nation's capital. Before departing the presidential wing of the Murtala Muhammad Airport on Sunday, the president took the salute of the Nigerian Army Parade, who mounted a guard of honor. He was in the company of Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. During his stay in Lagos after his trip to Paris and a private visit to London, the president paid a courtesy visit to the paramount rulers of Ijebu, Eba, and Eko in Ogun and Lagos states. He also played host to the president of Guinea-Bissau and chairman of the authority of ECOWAS heads of state and government, Omar Sisiko Mbalo, in his Lagos residence on Saturday. Bishop of Sokoto Catholic Diocese Matthew Kuka has called on federal government to enforce the provision of the freedom of religion and worship as enshrined in the nation's constitution and other laws of the land. According to Bishop Kuka, this can be done by providing adherents of different faiths in the country with places of worship in various federal government establishments across the nation. The bishop, who spoke to journalists shortly after the inaugural mass at the Catholic chaplaincy of the 119 Composite Group of the Nigerian Air Force Sokoto, emphasized the importance of these places of worship that enable personnel to freely practice their religion. He said most federal government, universities, medical centers, and other federal government establishments have no provisions for places of worship for Christians, especially in many parts of northern Nigeria, which is in breach of the constitutional provision. As this year's pilgrimage came to an end, pilgrims from Nasarawa State have been charged to use the opportunity of their continued stay in the Holy Land to pray for peace, unity and progress of the nation. Amirul Hajj of the state, Aisha Bashir, gave the charge shortly after the conclusion of activities in Makkah. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report from Makkah as presented from our studio.
After the conclusion of Hajj activities, pilgrims' attention turned to when to return home. A situation that has become a concern to authorities saddled with the responsibility of taking pilgrims to and fro from the Holy Land. Speaking to Trust Television News, the Nasarawa State Amirul Hajj, who is also the state chief judge and first female to take up the responsibility, Aisha Bashir, said religious activities in the Holy Land does not end after the pilgrimage, hence the need for the pilgrims not to be eager to return home after the annual Islamic sacrifice by those opportuned by Allah. She explained that the pilgrims should be patient as none of them will be shortchanged in the process of airlifting them back home.
As our pilgrims came, we said we have about 5 flights, so no pilgrim is shortchanged. The first flight able to go back, so everybody must spend this allocated number of days in Saudi Arabia. There's nothing we can do to facilitate it. We have to wait for the Saudi Arabian government to open the airspace. And once the airspace is open, because we are the first state to come, we shall be the first state to go back. So I'm urging our pilgrims, they should exercise patience. They should not say because they want to go home. The Kaaba is there for them to continue praying. It's a spiritual experience. It's very expensive. Some of us may never come back by reason of death or lack of opportunity, or Allah has not called us back. So we should maximize this time and not say want to rush home. Let us continue praying.
Some of the pilgrims who spoke to Trust TV News appreciated God for the successful pilgrimage and commended Saudi Arabian Authority, NACON, and Nasarawa State Hajj managers for their concerns.
they have tried very well. And I hope, since after the COVID-19, I think this was the second Hajj that they have got about 2 million crowd. And I'm sure next year they will improve more. But the sanitary situation in Mina need to be improved more.
There is very tremendous progress. There is tremendous progress in it. They accommodate us in a very good accommodation there in Mecca, and as well they fed us almost twice.
No date has been fixed for the commencement of airlifting of pilgrims back to Nigeria, but authorities are said to be working towards successful return of pilgrims to their various destinations.
And on the foreign scene, Burundian troops with the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, have celebrated their country's 61 years Independence Day in Mogadishu and Johor. The events in both cities were attended by high-ranking officials, including ATMIS and United Nations representatives. The head of the African Union Transition Mission, Ambassador Mohamed El Amin Sohib, highlighted Burundi's significant contributions to peace in Africa, particularly in Somalia and Central Africa. Anita Kikibeho, the UN Secretary General's Deputy Special Representative for Somalia, praised Burundian peacekeepers' courage and sacrifice and ensured continued UN support for the AU mission. Burundi gained independence from Belgium on July 1, 1962. The region was part of the territory known as Rwanda-Urundi under Belgian colonial rule, which also included what is now the country of Rwanda. The French government said on Sunday that hundreds more had been arrested amid a fifth night of rioting sparked by the police killing of a 17-year-old, as police deployed reinforcements to flashpoint cities around the country. Protesters, mostly minors, have torched cars, damaged infrastructure, and clashed with police in an outpouring of rage since an officer shot Niall M. point blank as he attempted to flee a traffic stop on Tuesday. The killing was captured on video, which spread on social media and fueled the anger over police violence against minorities, exposing severe racial tensions in France. A day after Niall was laid to rest in his hometown near Paris, the Interior Ministry said police had made 719 arrests overnight, still a provisional tally, after about 1,300 the previous night. Some 45 police officers or gendarmes were injured, 577 vehicles torched, 74 buildings set on fire, and 871 fires set in streets and other public spaces. And finally, on sports news, Lorena Webb's perfectly timed her sprint to beat three-time champion Marina Vos in the third stage of the Giro d'Italia Dawn. The 24-year-old Dutch team SD Works rider made her move 150 meters from the finish line in Modena. Her compatriot Vos was second and American Chloe Dygert third in the bunch sprint. Defending champion Annemiek van Vleuten retained her 49-second lead in the general classification. The sprinters were always likely to dominate a largely flat 118.2-kilometer run from Formigine after the peloton railed in the dead second breakaway with 11 kilometers remaining. McLaren's request for a right to review Lando Norris' 5-second penalty at the Canadian Grand Prix has been rejected. Austrian Grand Prix stewards decided there was no significant, relevant and new element that was not available at the time of the original decision. Stewards have to accept that there is a new element that was not previously considered to allow a right of review. It means Norris remains in 13th place, to which he was demoted from 9th. McLaren had argued that various team managers' meetings had suggested this practice was not something that should be punished. Representatives from other teams present at the hearing did not necessarily share their views or interpretation of those meetings. The decision is not subject to appeal. With that, we have come to the end of the Trust News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching and bye for now.